going to be talking about languages, so you can start thinking of your experiences about language learning. Why do you learn a language? Any situation that happened to you during your language learning process. So you can all start thinking of them. Soon we'll be discussing about them. The last 3 minutes, then we'll be starting. Last 2 minutes. Good evening, welcome. Jasleen, I also see your name for the first time. Welcome to Clasital. All right, last 1 minute, then we're starting. We're going to be starting talking about languages as our discussion topic. Okay, welcome all. Let's start today's speaking session. Let me share my screen. There we go. Welcome to today's speaking workshop. And here is today's agenda. What will you learn today? We'll have some discussion questions, part 1, part 2, and part 3. And I'll be sharing my feedback with you about your speaking. I will do it in the end. And today we're going to be talking about languages. As you see, our format has changed a little bit. We just wanted to have more time for speaking. So that's why and upon your feedback in the survey forms, we wanted to give more time and more place for discussion and for speaking practice. That's why we are starting with discussion right away. Okay, here comes part 1. I ask you to answer these questions with 2 to 3 sentences. Here, please use the time efficiently, maximum 40 seconds you can think. And our first discussion question is, what do you think would be the hardest language for you to learn? I'm sure everybody has that language that's the hardest language to learn. And I'm sure it's different for every individual. And here is my sample answer. Well, I haven't exactly tried to learn languages other than the ones I already know. But I think that Chinese, Mandarin, to be more exact, language would be the hardest language to learn because one literally has to memorize thousands of its characters. So as you can see, we have the word memorize here. It's written as bold. So it's one of the vocabulary that we use while we're talking about learning a language. For me, for example, that is the sample answer, but for me individually, German is the most difficult, most hardest language to learn for me. Okay, everybody will take a turn to speak. Use 2 to 3 sentences, maximum 40 seconds. Who wants to try? You can use the react button to raise your hand. Okay, anyone feels ready? Everybody will have a turn. What do you think would be the hardest language for you to learn? You are here as language learners. Yes, baby, let's start with you.
I just enter. Let's see, what will I say? Okay, I'm a little bit confused. Question is, what do you think would be the hardest language for you to learn? Okay, as a side language of my native language, Urdu, I always try to learn English as my second language or as another language, because it's always hard for me to construct sentences and build up the vocabulary for me, high vocabulary for me to use in my language, or uh, construct a valuable sentence or a high-fi sentence in my language. So it's always a hard for me to capture all these things related English, and I'm still building my
Okay,
sentence.
so English is the hardest language for you to learn.
Yes.
Okay, so you're still building up your vocabulary.
I'm still brushing up my language skills. You can say that.
Okay, thank you, Fairy. Thank you for using very good phrases. And now let's continue with you.
Well, apart from my native language, I already learned 2 different languages, and now I am up to a new challenge. I would like to learn a Tunisian dialect. It's some kind of dialect of Arabic language, and I see it's really hard, especially letters, and I'm not even sure that I'll be able to do it, but it's really necessary for me at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Anna, how many languages do you know, by the way?
My two native languages are Ukrainian and Russian, and English. I'm still learning English, and I learned French. My French is not really good, but I'm still working on improving it, but I already can express myself.
So you're a multi-language person. Okay. Jasly? Do I pronounce your name correctly? Jasly?
Yes, ma'am. Well, a foreign language, basically English, straightforward to learn. Still, the difficult part is to pronounce the word because some are very difficult to pronounce. So that mispronunciation can distort the meaning of whole sentence. So this is one of the most difficult part while I learn English language.
Thank you, Jasmine. That was a very clear answer. Okay, who wants to continue? I have Surya, Nina, Divya. Surya, let's continue with you.
Yeah, hi. Actually, my mother tongue is Telugu. I'm from India. My mother tongue is Telugu. But as of now, okay, I can say it will be easy to learn English because it's a common language. Most of the people used to speak, right? So it will be easy to learn and understand everything. But coming to any the rest of the any languages, I didn't try any of the languages to learn. I didn't, so I'm not sure which language would be the hardest thing. So but from the last 1 year I'm trying to learn Hindi. Okay, but not that much sincerely. But I'm trying to learn by watching movies and listening to songs like that. It seems to used to be it's a hardest thing for me because as of now, if I'm trying it from the 1 year also, but I know I learned 30 to 40% of the language only till now. That's it. So for me, it's the hardest one.
Okay, thank you, Surya.
Thank you.
Divya?
Good evening, ma'am. Actually, I think this would be so embarrassing to tell, but I think my most hardest language is my native language, that is Malayalam, because I have been brought up in a different city and I have been struggling to speak Malayalam uh, because of many grammatical errors which I have been found right now. So that's it. Thank you,
Okay,
ma'am.
thank you. It's not embarrassing. It's such a normal situation for many people, especially with hard languages to learn. Okay, Nina?
It is with my notion that Arabic is the most hardest language for me to learn because of the pronunciation and a lot of characters that is different from my native language. And aside from that, the Arabic language they start from reading from the from the right to left, which is the total opposite of the way Westerners read.
True, true. That's correct. Okay, Nina? I have Sandhya, Vaishnavi, and yeah, Sandhya or Vaishnavi. Do you want to take a turn to speak? Here in the speaking session, everybody is speaking. Yes, Vaishnavi, and can you please share the correct pronunciation of your name with me? Hello? Are you having a trouble with your microphone? Okay, it seems that you're having a problem with your microphone. Yeah, if you want, you can leave and come back. I can let you in to try out. Okay, Sandia, will we hear from you? You can't hear me. It's about your device's audio settings, because I think rest of everybody, they can hear me. I think my microphone is on.
Hi.
Hello, yes, we can hear you.
Sorry to everyone for wasting your time.
Yes, you can talk.
Okay, ma'am. To me, the hardest language is Hindi because I'm learning since my childhood as it's my second language. Uh, but still, I have troubling to speak in Hindi. I can write, read, and I can understand Hindi, but to me, the sentence formation to speak it is very much difficult. To me, the hardest language is Hindi.
Hindi. Okay. Thank you. Sandia, can you speak, or are you still having problems? If you are, you can still listen to us, or you can use the chat box to write your sentences, to write your speech maybe. And when you're ready, we can hear from you. Okay. Let me move on to part 1, question number 2. How useful will English how useful will English be to you in the future? Why and why not? A sample answer. There is no doubt that this language is going to be very useful for my future, especially concerning finding a better career opportunity and communication. Moreover, I plan to travel to as many countries as possible in the future, and then English will be the language to communicate with others. So now please think of English and how useful will English be to you in the future? Why and why not? For me, English will be very useful in future too, because I'm an English teacher. This is how I make my life, how I earn my life. So that's why I need to keep improving my English to teach better. And whoever is ready, we can start. Yes, Anna, let's start with you.
I'm pretty sure that English will be really useful for me, because as I see that English is really widely spoken by most people in the world, so it will come in handy when you travel. For example, you can buy tickets without problems. You can go to any country and you communicate with people there, even if you don't speak their native language. And also, English language gives a lot of work opportunities, career opportunities, because if you speak other language except your native language, especially English, so you can find a better job and earn more money.
Thank you, Anna. Who wants to continue? Jasly, you want to continue? Oh, you were raising your hand, but then you removed it. Yes, baby.
Okay. English, how useful will English to you in the future environment? Okay, actually, ma'am, I'm doing some chores between your lecture. That's why I couldn't respond you timely.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. It's very essential for me to learn English language or English language because some. थोड़ी देर बाद ma'am, can I answer a letter?
Sure. Oh, sure. Of course. Take your
Okay,
time. No
okay.
problem. Who else wants to continue? Jaslyn, yes.
Hello, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Of course, it is always an advantage to know a foreign language like English, and I really think that it will be highly useful for me for my future because I am planning to move to an English speaking country for my higher studies. Besides studies, English will surely help me to communicate with peoples from other countries in my personal and professional life. I think finally knowing the language will help me read many books which are written by the English authors.
Mhm. Okay, thank you, Justin. That was a very clearly organized answer. Who else wants to continue? As you can see, like we're not looking for very complex answers. So you can think of travel, you can think of education, you can think of career plan. It doesn't have to be a real future plan. You can just make it up. Don't worry, okay? Yes, Sandia. Maybe we can hear you now. Is your microphone working, Sandia? I think not. Oh, it's not very nice. Like, maybe you can also leave and come back. I can let you in. That will help you, okay? Sandhya. Okay, Surya, let's continue with you.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's a very useful language for me because I'm planning to go for some other country for working purpose. So in order to survive there, definitely I have to learn this language because most of the people in the worldwide, most of the people are use this language to speak. So in order to survive anywhere or in order to build our career in this corporate world, I think this English language is very useful.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you, Surya. Fairy?
Yes, it's very essential for me to learn English as a second language because as I have a plan to move an English speaking country. So as I get, the more I get the mastery of this language, the more I got the more I will be proficient in my language, and I could cover. I could go to the. I could. I. I would. Sorry. I would I would be able to communicate better, and I would get the better result, and it's also very useful in my career prospects also.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Fairy. Sandhya, now can we try?
I don't know how my life will change in the
We can
future.
hear you.
In the future, but one thing I really know that English, it's a widely spoken language around the world. There is no doubt for that. Um, in other words, that because I am planning to move for a English-speaking country for my higher studies, and there
Mm-hmm.
is no doubt that English is going to be very useful for the future, especially for my better career opportunity
Mm-hmm.
and communication. So, in my opinion, English is very useful for me in my
To learn.
future.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. I have Nina left, Divya left, and Vaishnavi left. Divya.
Yes, ma'am. I think English would be a very useful uh, and a basic need, just like food, if I'm moving to a different country. So, for my career and further studies, it would be a very essential and basic thing to learn English. Yes, ma'am. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Divya. That was a very good metaphor. The English will be very useful, just like food. That I really liked it. Okay, Nina and Vaishnavi.
Okay.
Uh,
English will
yeah, please.
uh, English will provide more benefits for me in the future, particularly in terms of career opportunity, because many international companies nowadays require their employees to have a good command of English language skills. And aside from that, it will help me to socialize more with other people.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you, Nina. And Vaishnavi, yes.
English will be very useful in the future for me because I'm going to moving to the English speaking country for my studies.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, for my career opportunities and for the better understanding of my studies, English will be way more useful to me.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, let's move on to our discussion part 2, where you will have 1 minute to prepare and 2 minutes to speak. So here you will describe the first time you used a foreign language to communicate. You should say what the situation was, where you were, who you communicated with, and explain how you felt. Of course, like I always say, don't go like answering one by one, but instead trying to tell us a story so we can get all the answers from your speech. Okay? So this is an sample answer. You can look, you can read, and you can get some ideas from it. And here are some vocabulary that you can use in your speech. Culture, reluctant, royal family, pluck up courage, stay on budget, foreigner. You can integrate this vocabulary in your answer too. So I'll start my timer for 1 minute. Then you will have 2 minutes to speak. Here I start. Okay. You can start getting ready. Okay, your time's up. Make your last, think your last sentences. Okay. Please ready? Okay, anyone who feels ready to start? Okay, a situation? Yes, baby, let's start with you. Let me set my timer for 2 minutes. When you hear the beep, please try to complete your speech, okay? Here you can start, baby.
Hello. Okay. Uh, well, actually, I don't actually remember when I first speak in front of a native speaker, but as I'm just speaking with you, but I still remember when I was when I was in my language class. I remembered one event when I speech in front of my class and in front of my teacher in the language centers in the language center. It was my speech related to the Bermuda Triangle, which topic was by Bermuda Triangle versus aliens. So I just spoke in front of my classmates and my teachers. And I just give up all the speech and give the all the information to the classmate as a speech, and I um, spoke a lot about that topic. After completing my speech and after completing my topic, I was just very confident and pluck up my courage to speak more again and again. I just want to uh, improve my language proficiency after completing my speech, because my teacher comments me very good, give me comments very good, and just said me that marvelous, you have done your best job. So that was very that feeling was give me so much courage, and even didn't thought that I could speak much more of that. So much more English in front of audience, basically, because I was very shy and shy person. So it was very hard. Uh, on the one hand, it was very hard for me to speak in front of them.
Okay. Thank you, Clary. Glad you felt
Okay.
that way. Okay, Anna, let's continue with you.
The most memorable time when I used a foreign language for the first time, it was many years ago, and my friends and I, we were traveling. We were coming back from Norway to Ukraine, and the problem was that we had some problems with tickets. So it happened in the airport, and at the registration stand, we came there, and the woman who worked there, she told us that our tickets, which we bought on the internet and they were downloaded to our phones, it actually wasn't. We couldn't use those tickets. So I was really nervous and embarrassed, because I've never encountered this kind of situations before, and I got scared that we could miss our flight. But luckily, she explained to us what actually we had to do. We uploaded special application, and through this application she could see our tickets. But it took her some time to explain what exactly we had to do, and because at that time I wasn't sure about my English, and I didn't have a lot of confidence in myself, so I was really stressful. And after I managed to resolve this problem, I was really proud of myself, because the friend who was with me at that time, she didn't speak any English at all, and she didn't see any problem. She couldn't understand what was going on and why I became red, then I become white, and what was going on. So, well, this situation taught me a lot. First of all, I got more confidence while speaking to foreigners. And second, I learned that every time I have to have physical tickets with me and not download them on my phone anymore.
Okay. Thank you, Anna. That was very good to story here to listen to now. But I'm sure that time it wasn't that nice. Okay, Jasly.
I think the first time I talked in a foreign language was when I was in third grade. It happened at school. My English teacher made me speak about myself in English with another classmate. I had learned about English alphabets in kindergarten, and I could even write simple sentences in English by that time. However, I had never spoken a single loud. So I was really nervous. My teeth were clattering and my whole body was shivering. It took me about a lot of time to think that what should I do now? Should I speak? Eventually, I think I talked about the name, my hobbies, my parent name, and their profession. I think it was a short 3 sentence introduction. My teacher guided me correctly that what should I do to improve my English and also told me about my mistakes. The first sentence took me more than 30 seconds, but as I spoke more, I got more and more comfortable. After each sentence, my other classmate clapped on that situation and which boosted up my confidence really. After my turn, my teacher made all the other students do the same. She made peers and made everyone come to in front and talk about themselves. I could see that everyone went through the same feeling as me. My other classmates were also nervous like me. Some of them were even sweating. But after speaking, we all felt so better. I could wait to reach home and tell my mother how I spoke today. I was very excited. Gradually, I got more and more comfortable with English, but that first time was very nervous and I cannot forget that moment. But yet, I know more about confidence gaining and how to manage ourselves for the future difficulties. Thank you.
Thank you, Jasleen. Wow. It was very calm, very nice to listen to. Thank you. Okay, Divya.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, now which I'm going to share, maybe this happened with me, I think, 10 to 12 years before when I was a small kid. So this was not the first time I was visiting to my native place, but this was never the last time I was visiting. So I tried to learn my native language while traveling with my parents, some easy words and some sentences. So after reaching there to my native place, we traveled and it was a fun journey. But nevertheless, the last day of my native place, we went to the city, which was completely crowded because there was some exhibition going on. And in that place, for some time, I was lost and I couldn't communicate properly because I didn't knew my native language. But by God's grace, I knew my parents' phone number and somehow I reached to them. that day I decided anyhow I have to try to learn my native language, and I'm still trying to learn, not completely, but some 50-60% I have learned.
That's good. Okay, thank you. The progress is good. Okay, who wants to continue? Surya, Vaishnavi, yes, Surya.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, from my childhood onwards, I studied in English medium school only. But it's just for the namesake, it's an English medium school. But our teachers are teaching everything in Telugu only, our native language. So, um, I don't know. I don't know how to form the sentences in English, and I don't know anything until I come to workplace. Until I started my working. I don't know really. I'm not that much comfortable in English, but I first spoken. I had given some presentation in English during my graduation level. Actually, we used to we will have a communication classes every week in the college to build up our communication skills. But we used to bunk those classes every time. But one time, my teacher noted my name, and she warned me that I have to give a presentation the next day. So I prepared well, and but anyway, that was my first presentation to say, and I was feeling very shy because that was the first time that I'm speaking in front of so many people. That was the first time, but anyway, there is no other way to skip the session. So I started, and I started my presentation, and so but when once I started it, it went well. I didn't feel any discomfort, but just starting, I just felt nervous when it was starting. But once I started it, it went very well, and I finished it as expected. And yeah, that's what I finished. How?
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Nina, Sandhya. Yes, Vaishnavi. Oops, sorry. You can start. Again, microphone problem, Vaishnavi?
Sorry, ma'am.
We can hear you. Yes.
Okay. The first time I spoke the proper English was in my college fest. In my third year graduation, the college has organized college fest. For that college fest, from different states, the students and some of the professors uh, are going to attend. And for that fest, I am the one of the organizer. So we have to uh, answer all the questionnaire or any troubles. We have to communicate with the people who came for the fest. So the college has set the rule that we have to communicate in English with everyone. But I don't know the English very well, that well. So I was a little bit nervous and afraid of speaking in English to the strangers. So then I thought I should left from the organizing team. But then my teacher has helped me and gave me the courage to speak to the strangers in English. Uh, and that's how I completed talking that day with so many strangers in the English what I know. That's all.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Nina, let's continue with you.
Okay. The the first time that I spoke the foreign language is when I traveled to Hong Kong last year. It was a 5 day trip, and during our first day was our free time. So I tried to use that time to roam around the city. So I went to a bricks and mortar shop in the city of Sham Sham Su, and my purpose of going on that area was just actually to take pictures, but the lantern products caught my attention. And I went inside the shop and I found the owner, and she doesn't speak English. So I tried to talk to her in Mandarin, which I learned during my elementary years. During that time, I was negotiating with her the price of the lantern, which is the traditional product of that country. At first, I was reluctant to speak on Chinese because I was petrified that she might not understand me. But I plucked up my courage, and upon speaking to her, she was able to understand me easily, and she gave me a hefty discount because she was amazed with my speaking skills. In the end, I felt elated because I got the product, and at the same time, I gained a friend.
Mhm. Okay, thank you. That was very clear as well. I think everybody has spoken. Okay, thank you all. I will share my feedback in the end. We have one last speech discussion part 3, deep conversation. Here you will choose one of the questions and answer it in 1 minute. And these are the questions. Sorry. Why is language an important aspect of culture? And what are the differences between learning a first language and a foreign language? So choose one of the questions and please give me an answer like 1 minute long. And you can start whenever you're ready. And please tell me your question as well. That will be the last round of speaking. Why is language an important aspect of culture? What are the differences between learning a first language and a foreign language? You can think of your own experiences. We are all learning a second language here, a foreign language here. By the way, there is a difference between a second language and a foreign language in terminology. Foreign language, for example, as a Turkish citizen, I'm learning in English. That's a foreign language learning. But for example, in Canada, French and English are the both languages. So you can learn the one as the second language. So that's called second language. In culture, you can think of the vocabulary. Some vocabulary reflects the culture. When you know the language, you can understand the culture better, maybe, if you are looking for some answers for those questions. I can keep this part optional. So whoever feels like answering can answer. If you don't feel like speaking, you may be tired. So I'm not gonna force you. But if you want to speak, I'm happy to listen to you all the time. What? Yeah, baby. Thank you for being a risk taker.
I'm taking a risk actually. Ma'am, actually, I'm just doing, as I told you. Okay, leave it anyway. Okay, why? I just want, I would like to answer a question question number one. Why is language an important aspects of culture? नहीं है, नहीं है मेरे पास, नहीं. Okay, I just wonder. Why is a language an important aspects of your culture? Uh, I think so. It's very essential to learn language it's very essential for. Sorry, ma'am. Can I start again?
Sure, you can.
Okay, okay. Uh, I think so. Language can increase. Language are very important to learn, and it's very essential for the culture because if you want to try to any English speaking country or you want to go to any other country for your career prospect and for your study purpose, so it's very important to learn their language to communicate in a better in a better way, and this also give you the confidence to communicate with the local people over there because if you communicate better there you get the whole story or you get involved in their culture too. You know better about their culture also. Means on the one hand it's give you the proficiency in or mastering any other language or uh, uh, second language, and on the other hand it will give you the path for your career to and and just uh, and just keep your sorry, it's okay, enough.
Okay, thank you, baby. Thank you for trying. All right, Anna, let's continue with you.
Even though both questions are rather complicated, I would like to answer the second question. What are the differences between learning a first language and a foreign language? Well, I think that the main difference is the age when we start learning those languages. For example, when we start learning a first language, we actually already speak this language with our family. And as we start learning our first language when we are kids, so it's not difficult for us to understand it because, as we know, kids, they consume and they understand the information better than adults. And when you learn your first language, you easily can watch cartoons, TV, you listen to the songs. And in most cases, your first language, it's also your native language. So I don't see any difficulties in learning your first language. However, foreign language is rather difficult because there are two options. Whether we started learning in school in already older age, or it's our choice, and some people start learning foreign language, for example, when they are already adults for different purposes, work purpose, or maybe because they have to immigrate to different country and to communicate with locals, they need to learn foreign language. And of course, it's rather difficult because people already have different they're busier than when they were kids, and it's more difficult to work on the information and consume the information. That's why I think that is the main difference. It's the age.
Okay, thank you, Anna. Jasly? Yes, Jasly? Yeah.
Excuse me, mom. I want to answer the second question.
Sure.
Well, I want to tell the difference. Okay. So, the first language is a native language which we learn when we are born. From the day we born, we know how to speak that language clearly, fluently, and we also can pronounce that language in a very extreme better way. But talking about foreign language, it is a little bit difficult because, as we know, no one is perfect on the earth. But perfection can be gained after hard work. So it is a little bit difficult to learn foreign language, to learn its pronunciations, its vocabulary, and its fluency.
Mhm. Okay, thank you. That would be enough. Okay, last call for deep discussion, or I'm starting my feedback. Last call. Yes, Vaishnavi, thank you for being another risk taker.
I want to answer the question, why is language an important aspect of culture? To me, language and culture both are coexisted thing. Uh, when we want to just a second, ma'am. Okay, when we want to learn the other culture, to involve in the culture, language plays a very important role. By speaking in that particular language, we'll be connected more to the culture, and by knowing that language, we can know so many things about a culture. Like we can enjoy their music, we can speak to them, to the people, and we can know the deep thoughts behind that culture. Like that, we can be very important uh, to speak that language in the aspect of culture.
Okay, thank you. Um, okay, thank you. Yes. Okay. So, Jasmine, do you want to say something or?
I also want to try the first question.
In that part, we're choosing just one to use the time efficiently as well. If you don't get us wrong, is that okay for you?
Excuse me, ma'am, I didn't get it.
Like you can note down the question for yourself and you can practice. Okay, no problem.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay, now thank you all for joining today's discussion. Now I want to give my feedback to you. Also, maybe while listening to my feedback, you can fill our survey form. This is a new version, by the way, for the newcomers and for the old people at Clasital. This is a new version of form, and we are planning to start one-to-one private lessons at Clasital, and we're planning to choose people for one-to-one Clasital, to try out of the people who filled out that form. Okay, so if you fill that form, you can have a chance to win a private course at Clasital as well. So please fill that survey form that I sent in the chat box. Okay, so now, yes, let me start my feedback. Maybe let me start with you. I heard any complex structures in your speech today. You use the more, the longer, the more kind of structures. That was really good, and that gives very good impression on the examiner. That shows that you know the complex language structures. And you did self-correction. That was really good. Like I always say, when your error-free sentences are more than the sentences with errors, that's good. You're on the good track. And you answered all the questions in the discussion part. And just one thing, one little grammar feedback for you. Like while telling a story, we're trying to use the, oh, Fairy's not here. Fairy, can you hear me? I was giving feedback to you.
Ma'am, I didn't heard anything because I was logged out by mistaken.
I was saying today you used some complex language structures like the more. That was really good. You did self-correction. That was good. And in just one part, you used different tenses while telling your story. You were using past tense, and then all of a sudden you said like, my teacher gave me. So please try to stick to one sentence structure while telling your stories. And I know in real exam situation, you will be alone, you will be more organized, you will be more concentrated. So I'm not commenting on that part because I know you're busy at home, so you can't maybe concentrate much. But in real exam situation, you'll be alone and concentrated. I'm sure about that. Is Surya here? Yes. Surya, it was my first lesson with you, and I really, yeah. Thank you for speaking a lot today. You answered all the questions, and I also recommend you to use the same tense while telling your story. So start with past tense and continue with past tense. So that would be
Okay.
better in terms of organization. And sometimes you
Okay.
do very well, a lot. Instead, try to use different words. Be more flexible with your vocabulary, okay? Instead
Yeah.
of using the same structures. Maybe I would say 7.58 for you. Surya, I would say 7, around 7. I'm
Okay.
using
Thank you.
and descriptors, the rubric for my feedback. Jocelyn, I'm really impressed. It was your first time in my session as well. You're really calm. It's very easy to listen to you. It's really like comforting. And you are using the speaking fillers like well, and that gives a very natural feeling for your speaking, and that shows that you're very confident with the language. You can use such fillers naturally, and the flow of the speech is very natural. That's a very good impression. And your intonation as well. So while asking questions to yourself, while saying, did I get this wrong? No. So you were using that intonation very well. I would say like 8, 8.5, maybe plus. So that was really good.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yeah, very clear speech. And Anna, like always, your organization was very well. Your use of language was very well. Just one little feedback at the airport, we'll say, instead of in the airport. Just one little feedback. That was the only thing I heard from you today. And other than that, your band is pretty high as well. Nina, are you here? Yes. Nina, it was like your speech was very clear as well. And it was really easy for me to follow your speech. Your flexibility with vocabulary was good, but maybe you could have spoken a bit longer in some parts. Other than that, your speech was good today. I would give you like 7.5, so that's very good. Divya, she's here. Divya, I really like the flexibility in your vocabulary, and I really like using like metaphor, just like food. So that gives that you can even make metaphors, so you can think that complex in English. That's really nice. And your length of your speech was very good too. So again, for you too, I will give like 7.5, and depending on the context, it can be even like go upper. And Vaishnavi, I also recommend you. Thank you, like Vaishnavi. It was my first time with you today too. So your length of speech was good enough and very good. Again, I recommend you to use the same tense while giving your answers. And sometimes, like, using lots of shows that you hesitate about your speech, you don't know what to say next. That may give some like alarms that maybe you're not sure about your organization. So instead, try to plan your speech first in your mind, then start speaking. It will be much better. Other than that, my feedback is done for today. Please, please, please fill the feedback form, and you can always follow our Clasital website for more practice. You can visit the library part, and our next speaking session will be on Saturday, but the other days there will be other sessions for other skills, other parts. So you can check the Clasital calendar for that. Thank you all for coming today. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for coming. Goodbye, everyone. Have a great evening.
Good night, ma'am. Thank you.
Bye-bye.